The second part to the Ron Paul video. I mean, I really didn't cover all the Ron Paul issue items on the website. So let's just pick up where I left off, but I'll add a little bit here. These videos get more views, and the comments are 90% negative, and yet 90% just insults. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an asshole. You're a drug user. You're a hippie. You're this. You're that. Just crap. No real argument. Read the Constitution, all this, complete mush. I've read the Constitution. I've also read the history books and realized the Constitution was written, before women had the right to vote and before black men were recognized as human beings. I'm not going back there. I'm certainly not going to support assholes who wish to. So anyway, the title, I actually, the title was just a second thought, but I mean, I did think about it, there's not, when I go through these issue items, there isn't a single policy issue, there's barely a word that's come out of Ron Paul's mouth that wouldn't be supported by Pat Robertson. None of it. It's the same thing. Like I said, Pat Robertson ran for president a few times, and you're basically voting for him. And that's amazing when you think about it. Atheists voting for, a religious nut. And that's what Ron Paul is. He's just found a racket. He's found a way to do it. And he doesn't talk on his website about liberating drug laws. He doesn't talk about any of that. He talks about states' rights. And you have this idiotic assumption that states are going to do that. They're not going to. It's not going to happen. There might be one or two, actually. California, you just don't know how far it might go. But it'll pay such a high price for it if it does. The first state that does is going to pay a huge price for it. And but the middle of the country isn't. Certainly the South is never going to go there willfully, and we know where the South is going to go, though. It's going to go fascist very fast. And like I said, we know what's going to happen to certain, abortion rights. Those rights are going to be gone, and that's what you're voting for. And there certainly isn't going to be there's going to be lots of new state laws that say, no, we can teach evolution in the school. We can teach creationism in the schools, and we can outlaw atheists, and we can put people who, homosexuals who kiss in public in jail. They're going to pass all kinds of crazy-ass draconian laws that are going to be directly pointed at you. Okay, you free-thinking, liberal atheists, social liberals. You're going to lose big time. And so you're just fools. You're idiots. You're fools. You have so little fucking character, actually. I'll go that far. That you are so gullible. First you join these stupid cults, and why? Because there's some little issue that gets you just right. Because the rhetoric is just right for you. And I don't understand. Like I said, I don't know how many of you are. I just don't even know where you're coming from. Whether you are just racist, or whether you are just part of the rich elite and want to preserve your elite status, which I'm not even threatening, which I don't think even the government is threatening. Taxes are hardly onerous on the wealthy, you compare it to what they are in regular people. And that's another issue. Ron Paul didn't say anything about cigarette taxes. The most outrageous tax in America, in my opinion, a tax of 1,000% on a minority vice. It's plainly unconstitutional to use the tax code in this manner. Prohibition didn't happen through a 50% vote in a Congress over a liquor tax. No, it had to take a 3/4 fucking vote, for a constitutional amendment, because 90 years ago or whatever, 80 years ago, the Constitution did say something else. So you don't have to go back that far to find the real Constitution. The real Constitution did exist in the turn of the century, and the 19th, and it's been lost in recent years, and substantially lost. So anyway, I mean, any libertarian who can't say, flat out and support people's right to smoke cigarettes without being taxed out of that choice, that's a pretty poor libertarian, in my opinion. And also, like I said, anybody who can't, instant runoff voting, again, the subject is damn important to anybody who has minority ideology in this country. It's the only way you're ever going to get representation, is we have to make this change to our democracy. There's got to be a way to vote third party. There's got to be a way to vote your best choice first, and not be forced to protect yourself by voting against the evil, by voting for the next lesser evil. You should be able to vote your goddamn mind first. Ugh, I have to explain that over and over. Well, sorry, I ran on a bit. So, well, anyway, I was talking that Social Security, Ron Paul's policy, it doesn't even say on the website too much about a pension program. It has some, ambiguous language implying, an ability to invest in the stock market or something. But that doesn't really cover anything. Oh, sorry for the interruption. So I think I was somewhere on Social Security. The point is, it's not a pension program. You can't take the money that you put into Social Security and put it into some sort of, 401k or something or whatever. It's an insurance program. It's, it's designed to, the money goes in, the money goes out. It goes right directly to people receiving the funds. There's no pool of money beyond the trust fund, which was merely created for future liabilities. That was to take care of the baby boomer problem. It's been a prepaid band-aid, or whatever you want to call it, that would get us through, 3 or 4 decades. And that was the money that's been borrowed by income taxpayers, ironically, the very taxes he wants to eliminate. So anyway, it's just, you people don't understand what the Social Security is, you don't know how it works, and you just bought the lie. It's that simple. Alright, so let's get to the next, the rest of these issues, get this done. He wants to physically secure all borders. That's what it says. Physically secure all borders. You know how much that's going to cost to physically secure all borders? Preposterous amount of money. Just amazingly huge amount of money. So, that's as bad as Bush's war. You're talking about a huge expense. It includes, he says, it's the shoreline also. He wants to secure all borders. I mean, it's just so stupid. I mean, look, the immigration problem isn't a border problem. The immigration problem is a work visa problem. And you solve that part of it. You just simply pass a law that people can't hire illegals, and you solve the damn problem, because they won't be here if they can't get a job. So, you don't need to spend $1 trillion securing borders. Frightening proposal. All right, so then there was this stuff he calls liberty and privacy or property or whatever it is. So he's opposed to any kind of national ID card, which, I know that scares a lot of people, but damn it, we really need some way to secure our humanness, our personhood, our citizenship, and Social Security numbers aren't exactly perfect for that purpose. And so I'm not afraid, really. The only people who should be afraid, I guess, are people who are breaking the law. Stealing money, hiding money, laundering money. I guess they wouldn't like banks to report it when somebody deposits $10,000, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, that's part of being in a civilized society, is we got to keep track of what people are doing. They can't be cheating, can't be breaking the rules. So I know a lot of people just not going to get that one, but whatever. I'm really not afraid of having an identity that is secure.